Welcome to Portraits by Melody on the Nathan's Art Channel. I'm Melody, the artist behind these portrait paintings, and this week I was actually kind of thinking about what influenced me and what made me into a portrait artist. Like, how did I get to where I am? A couple years ago, I found myself sitting next to Ben watching a documentary about Van Gogh. And at that time, I actually learned that there's a couple different ways to pronounce his name, like Vincent van Gogh and Vincent van Gogh. But for the sake of me remembering how to say it, I'll probably stick to the English ugly way to say it and just say Van Gogh or Vincent van Gogh. But I don't know, maybe I'll sneak in a couple of closer to the correct way to say it, but Vincent van Gogh. Anyway, we were sitting here watching this Van Gogh, maybe I'll say Van Gogh documentary, and Ben was on his way to earning his bachelor degree in printmaking at the time. So we spent a lot of time at the art building on campus, and I would sit and draw while he worked on his assignments in the studio. But after a while, we welcomed a small baby into our family, and my main responsibilities became caring for them. So it was probably my idea to watch this specific documentary. I'm a sucker for documentaries and really anything BBC. It was something like I couldn't remember much about him or his life from the art classes I took in high school, so just the idea of rekindling that knowledge, I guess, inspired me and intrigued me, so that's why we were watching it. The crazy thing is that I found out then and there, while watching this documentary, that at one point he created something every day. And that right there changed the entire course of my creative life, I think. I was feeling inspired by his pace, and I came up with this game plan. The rules were I had to create something in one sitting, and I had to be finished when I left the room. No coming back to work on it, and no excuses. I wanted a taste of the growth that they described him enduring, or I don't know, because of this pace that he was working at. And I was on a mission to recreate that experience for myself. There were a few problems though. At the time, I was a new mom. I had mostly used acrylic paints and graphite, and I was not a super creative person. I made one thing about every year. On a good year, I made something. Like, it was really sidelined. The most time, during this phase of life, the most time that I could find to do this challenge was only a 4-hour chunk of time, once a week, very late at night. So it was a major change for me. Coincidentally, Ben had given me some oil paints the Christmas before, and I wanted to relearn how to use those. So I actually made an effort to pull them out, and I used the oil paints to do this challenge. I sat down once a week, made an effort to pull them out, and I painted someone in that 4-hour sitting once a week. So up until this little challenge, I preferred making art about hands. This was really the moment that I started working on portraiture. This challenge was a huge boost for me to get better at finding a likeness quickly. I got way better at blocking in highlights and shadows, and more than anything, I think it was a boost to my confidence. Like, I realized I could actually spend time making things and it would turn out all right. I began to realize, wow, I should spend more time doing this. Working quickly took the pressure off of the perfection for me, and I think it allowed me to just get better and to see what would come out of a quick painting session. I couldn't keep this pace for long, though. Duty called once again, and so my oil paints got packed up and stored away. And after giving it some time, it's taken until the last couple of years to really let that pace that Van Gogh inspired in me to come back, I lost the time and space I needed to make anything. So when I discovered this digital art, it felt like I was reconnecting with my creative side. I'm now able to use this app to create something, and I think that's beautiful, but it comes with challenges, I had to learn to use the app, and I also have to decide what line I want to draw between using like traditional painting techniques and using technology to make things faster. And within this painting, every time I make one of these, I'm like, oh, is that breaking a rule that I wrote for myself, On this app, I get to sit and blend the colors like I would with wet oil paint. So it really is kind of like a blurry line for me. Like, what rules do I have to follow to make it a digital oil painting? I don't know. I struggle though. Listen to this.
Okay, this one's really this one's really tricky. I have never really done a profile at this angle, and a little bit ago you saw me move this eye down, and now I'm thinking I've got it all wrong and it needs to go up. And I don't want to draw it again because I've already drawn it twice. So I am going to use the tools that I've got and move it because I already drew it twice and I really want to save some time here. I think it needs to be higher, like how I had it before. Nose here. Yeah, I had it right before I moved it down. This eye needs to go up too. Dang it. Yeah. Here's to not having to do things twice because it's digital.
As you can see, I'm still trying to decide if I can let myself use the tools available because it's digital, or if I really need to just push through and do things the hard way because that's how I used to do it with a paintbrush. Having to completely cover something and start over was what I needed to do with a paintbrush. But is it okay to not do that with digital paintings? Like, do I get to use the cut tool and move lasso? Or do I have to sit and redraw it just to keep the authenticity of what I'm making? I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me. But I think I've gotten a lot of practice using the app, and I have been able to keep this pace really well over the last year and a half. Last year I made 23 portraits in 9 months, and then I took a break because I got burnt out, and I think that's okay. Since I started up again this year, I've made 16 portraits, and I think I've never in my life made this much of an effort to make art. I'm really proud of myself for that. I've been stealing time trying to stay on track to make a portrait a week, and who knows, maybe someday I'll pull my oils back out and make a painting with paintbrushes and canvas. But for now, thanks for being interested in what I'm making right now with these digital portraits. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.